Hey guys, in this video we're going to be painting the camper. This one is offered on canvas, so get your canvas out. Paint, scoop a little bit from your cups onto your plate, get them set out and ready. You're going to need an assortment of brush sizes. I've got 3. And a towel and a little jar of water for brush cleaning and drying. So to start, we're going to, you're also going to need a Sharpie. So to start, first step, we just want to go over the top of this lettering here so we can paint right over it and we'll be able to see it through our paint. We probably could still see it regardless, but just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna go ahead and outline it in this dark black Sharpie. And you do need to use a permanent marker. I recommend Sharpie. I'm not positive the other brands won't bleed into your paint. This one I know is safe, so I recommend that. So first step after that is finished. Go ahead, get your bigger brush out. We are going to paint the background, and I'm just gonna keep it a basic, very kind of light brown. And it's more like a cream color. So just a little bit of brown on your brush, stirred in with quite a bit of white. Just take on a little bit of that color. You want it very pale still. So something about like that. And I'm just gonna come in here and just paint my whole background. So you can see it's not quite white, but it's still very, very light. It's just it's like a cream tannish color. Now just thin paint over my letters. You can see that the Sharpie does come through. You don't want big thick globs. Just getting my whole background. Make sure that you did mix up enough color. If you run out of the paint that you mix, it's very difficult to match and get it the exact same shade. So if you're using a bigger canvas, you're gonna need more than what I made just because I'm using the 8x10 size. So that little trailer hitch, I think will show through. Yeah, I can see the pencil. So probably it would have been safe by just leaving it as pencil, my lettering. But I don't like to take chances. I don't want to tell you to do that and have it cover it and then you don't have your words anymore. So better to be safe than sorry. I'm gonna be careful around my banner, but if I'm a little sloppy, that's fine. This color shows, or covers really well because it's so light. The colors that we paint our banner will cover it very easily, and it does get an outline in black, so no worries. Just getting my paint spread out nice and thin and even, avoiding any big globs, spreading it out. Okay, so background complete. Next I'm going to do the white parts of my camper. I have a picture of this somewhere that I would like to have to look at. Where did I put it? Hard to say, hard to say. Right there. Okay. Yeah, so white parts next. The top and the bottom. I'm gonna do the windows also. And then there's like 2 of my little flags that will also be painted white. Just getting my brush clean. Dried off, wiped off on my towel. So with white paint, I'm gonna do this top part. And it does get an outline, and it'll kind of clean up your edge work. The whole thing is outlined, and it will cover your pencil line as well, because it is still showing. It's perfectly fine. And then this bottom little chunk. And I know it does seem kind of silly to paint something white that's already white, but the reason is the paint has like a semi-gloss to it. So when you look at this and you have the spots say we left this white, you'll see that it's dull. And you want the whole thing to look like it's painted and not just, you know, oh, you forgot that spot. So that's why we paint white areas white, just to have the same kind of sheen. It's a little bit of a gloss to the paint. And I'm also going to do this window. It's okay to be a little sloppy. You can fix your edge work when we paint the stripe across the camper. And the little window. And then I'll do the 3rd flag, skip 2, and the next flag. I'm going to use a bit of a smaller brush just because that space is kind of small. So this one, I should have done this first. Now my hand wants to rest and it's wet paint. Oh, they got a little wide. That's okay. And then skip 2, paint this one here. All right, next we can do the camper stripe, and it's going to be like a turquoisey color. Get my medium brush back out. Gonna get that dried off, cleaned up a little bit. I'm going to darken my turquoise and then add some white. So to darken it, I'm going to just stir in a little bit of red into a lot of turquoise. It kind of gives it this deeper, kind of more bluish tone. And then I'll just take a nice big old scoop of white and stir that in as well. And you can do your camper any colors you wish. You basically have the primary colors on your plate. The turquoise isn't quite blue, but you can use it as blue. So with the primary colors, you can mix up any color you can imagine. Red and yellow makes orange. Red and blue makes purple. So whatever you wish. And I'm going to paint my stripe. Here's my color. I don't know if I showed you. I made lots. I don't need quite that much, but that's okay. And remember, this does get an outline, so your edge can get cleaned up if you get a little bit sloppy. You can cover it with your black. Should probably use a little bit of a smaller brush. I just hate using a smaller brush, mainly because it leaves more brush strokes behind. So if you can get in an area with a bigger brush, the better. Your, let's see, like the application of the paint will just look nicer. It'll be a little bit smoother finish. But you can always do more than one coat, and that does help with your streaks and your brush marks. So it's up to you what you decide. It's chilly in here. It's making my nose run. I hate to put the heat on. First of all, it's loud. You can hear it running. And it's May. Shouldn't have to have the heat on. It's just one of those damp, kind of cold days. Not really cold, but the studio stays really cool. So I've got this filled in pretty well. If you do want a second coat, feel free. Just make sure you let it dry in between coats. Next I'm going to, oh wait, I got my little flags I want to do. Since I'm using this color, I might as well do them. I'm going to do the one right to the left of my white one. Should have done it first again. You think I learned by now. I want to rest my hand and it's wet. So I'll do the second one in, and again, you can do it in any pattern you want. Whatever colors you choose. Like I said, you can mix it up and do whatever. I mean, you could have pink, I mean, on your whole camper, whatever. It is yours. Do as you please. And then this one I painted white, so I'll do that one, the turquoise. Then the remainder, I'm going to have like kind of this reddish orange color. And these do get an outline, so your points can be cleaned up when you do the outline. Okay, so the door and the remainder of my flags, I want to do a like a reddish orange. So I'm going to mix yellow and red to kind of make an orange color. I'm a little heavier on the red, maybe. We'll see. Let's get her stirred. So I'll just take some red and mix it into some yellow. Get this nice kind of orangey tone. I am going to add white just because if I leave it like this, it's just very transparent. The white helps make it not transparent. I don't want to put too much in because I don't want it pastel. But once you do get the white stirred in, you kind of have a better idea of what your color looks like. And I want it more red than that. So now it's very, very orange. So I'm just going to add more red. Because I want it red-orange, not orange-orange. So something about like that. If it's looking pink to you, like a bright pink, it's just because you don't have enough yellow in. Take that pink tone out by adding yellow. So something about like that. I'm good with that color. And this is going to be my door. Let me see if I learned from my previous mistakes. Let me do my flags first. Ha ha ha. So, let's do the flags. This first one. This looks very orange still. I think I could have done a little bit more red, but I'm okay. I still like the combo. This one. Yeah, maybe I'm not okay with it. Maybe I do want it a little bit more red. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the third. Is that the one? No, this is the one. And then I'm gonna change my color up and just paint over it. But I painted them all like this, so when I go over it, they all will look the same. So if I hadn't painted this one, it might look different than the rest when I paint over. So just to keep them the same, I did them all. So I'm gonna take more red, and I don't need much. Stirring over here. Just make sure I have enough to do my door on my camper and my flags. A little more red to it. Let's see. Yes, that looks better. Probably should have waited for this to dry. It would cover better. I was just kind of mixing in. Let me hit it with my blow dryer. There we go. Then I'll get my door. Should switch to a bigger brush just to avoid streakies. And feel free again to do second coat. I'm just gonna keep it at 1, just to keep the video moving along. Edges don't have to be perfect. They do get a black outline, so that's fine. If you do want to touch up, feel free to touch up. Next step, I'm gonna start working on my black. We have the hitch to do, the tire to do, and then all of our outlining, and then the words. So this step is basic steps. No, I don't really need to show you anything too out of the ordinary. I'm going to use my skinny liner brush. Well, first I'll get that window filled in. So I use my smaller that I just used. Get that cleaned off, dried off. Get that window, not the window, the tire. I don't know if I said window or not, but not the window. The tire. We're gonna paint that little guy black. Make sure you get all the pencil around the edge of that filled in. You don't want that showing through. Then it's just outline, outline, outline. Pretty basic. I like to thin out my paint. I put my brush in water and then just stir the water into the paint. It just helps the flow, helps outlining go a little smoother. Make sure you don't have too much water stirred in. If you hold up your plate and it drips, you have too much. I'm gonna start right at the top with the banner. Just take your time. There's a lot to do. So just take your time, work at your own pace. I find it's easier if it's like on your lap. I might even sit down, work on it, come back and show you different pieces. Nothing you really need to watch me do. It's just outlining. I'm going to do, let's see, what's the easiest angle? I'm going to do the line across, and then I'll do each of the little triangles. I ran out of paint, need more paint. It doesn't matter what order really. I just like to start somewhere. I try to think about where my hand is going to want to rest. So I don't want to come down here and then go up there because my hand's going to want to sit down here and I don't want to drag it through wet paint, which sometimes happens. I get careless, not paying attention. So just be mindful of that. If you want to rest your hand, I mean, it is a lot easier to keep yourself steady. So just kind of work in an order that works for you. I know left-handed people would probably want to do something a little different than me. I'm right-handed. So just whatever is easiest on you. Try to get my points nice. Not so much. My red is a little wet. I transferred some. So there I've got my banner. I'll go around my little camper here. I'm gonna blow this dry here just because I don't want to drag red any more than I've already done. I'm gonna come across here just because I'm working my way down. I gotta say, this is a little bit easier. It goes a little smoother on canvas than it does the barn boards. What I find also, if you do kind of mess up a little on when you're working on the barn board, it hides a lot better in all those little grooves and cracks. So, you know, has its perks there as well. It's just nice to have a smooth surface, personally. I like that. The smoothest surface is just like the regular pine boards. Those are my favorite to paint on. They don't have any texture, like the canvas has a texture. The boards are very smooth. I did get a little weird here on my door. Shape got a little funky. Got my little hitch. Once in a while, if you just clean out your brush, because sometimes it starts to get kind of full and wants to spread out with you, spread out on you. So if you just kind of give it a quick clean out every once in a while and get it back to nice and fresh, your lines. Because I see as I'm working, my lines are kind of getting a little bit bigger, and that's just because my brush starts to get full and push out. So once in a while, I like to freshen it just with a quick rinse out. So I've got my camper, my banner. Lastly, I'll just get my letters. I think I'm going to use my small square one, and I'm just going to use it on its narrow edge. Hopefully that works well. We'll see. That's my little narrow brushes are getting kind of beat up. I did order some new ones, but I left them home because I have all my deliveries shipped to my house. And I forgot them. They're on the coffee table. So I'm just going to go right over top of this here that's written. Yeah, probably should have stuck with the skinny brush. It's getting a little weird. This brush is too big. Dang it. Looking weird. Then I gotta continue so the whole thing looks weird and not just a few. Then it looks intentional, not like a mistake. That's how I look at it. I missed the line completely there. Oh, that does not look that great. That's okay. I'm gonna try to touch up that little spot. I could see the Sharpie where I missed the line with my black. I'm just gonna go in and just kind of layer a little bit of my background color on that. Just try to hide it. And the rest is not exactly perfect either, but that bugs me. I see a little bit here. Clean up the bottoms. That got a little hairy. Yeah. So where my P line is kind of funky on the bottom, I'm just gonna go right across the bottom. Clean it up. Same with the bottom. My L here is a little weird. She not perfect, but she'll do. Make sure that your black is dry too. I'm probably going in before it's all the way dry, and could very well end up with a bigger mess if I'm not careful, because that black will blend. But there. Good, good. Looks a little better. Should have used the long skinny brush. Didn't, so my letters did get funky. Lesson learned, I won't do that anymore, especially on such a little canvas. Bigger one, it would probably be fine, because your letters can get wider. Sorry, I'm just being perfectionist. Ah, they look so weird. All right, if you want to sign your name to this, feel free. I tend to not like to sign ones with words. I'm just gonna make my brown just like that background brown, just a little bit darker. So it's just very muted. And you can see it's there, but it doesn't like really stick out, you know, and draw your eye. Just thin it with a little water, helps my brush just get my whole name in one quick swoop, ideally. I'll get it right down at the bottom here, so you can see it, but you can't really. And when you're finished, take pictures. I like seeing your finished work. Post to my Facebook page, Willy-Nilly. There's a post that I have just pinned right to the top where you can just share. Everybody else has shared. I check out their work too while you're there if you're feeling it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.